The Fujifilm X100VI is one of, if not the most in-demand camera on the market right now, and for good reason. It is a pocketable, compact digital camera you can carry on the go, with a new 40 megapixel sensor and Fuji's signature built-in film simulations, allowing you to shoot with some classic film-inspired looks in camera that you can share right away. There's no need to edit your photos afterwards. And after using this little camera, I'm starting to see why it's so hyped. What's up guys, my name is Jack, I'm at Tech Videos. So what is the X100VI? Well, it is the latest compact digital camera from Fuji's X series line, a successor to the very popular X100V from 2020. The 6 is also following that same trajectory. It is pretty much sold out everywhere right now. Let me know in the comments if you're still waiting to get yours. And I am completely new to Fuji's cameras, but I've been shooting with this for the last couple of weeks on a few trips just to get a feel for it and to, learn how it works. And I've loved shooting with it. I love the compact size. It is fantastic as an everyday camera with its portability. I love the look and design and the tactile build. But most of all, and most important of all, I love the look and colours of the images that this camera produces, especially when it comes to the built-in film simulations. Now, Fuji has a bit of a unique standing in the market. They are pretty much the only manufacturer out there now with a history of making both cameras and film stocks. So they know a thing or two about colour science and image processing, and they have brought all of that knowledge across to their digital cameras. We get 12 simulations in total with Provia, Velvia, Astia, Eterna, Arcos and Reala Ace, which is the new one here on the 6, and that's been my favourite to shoot with. And those are direct emulations of the classic Fujifilm stocks. Then there's Classic Chrome, Pro Negative High and Standard, Classic Negative, Nostalgia Negative, and Eterna Bleach Bypass, which are all unofficial representations of their other films. They each bring a different mood and look to your images, and when you're shooting with these simulations, they get baked into the JPEG files as they're saved. You don't need to go in and do any big edits later. The photos are ready to share. All of these shots you're seeing are straight out of camera with no edits, just some light cropping and straightening because I can't hold a camera level. You can still shoot JPEG plus RAW, so you have that original big RAW file with all of the extra image data if you do ever need it. But if you're someone who just wants to focus on shooting, you don't want to do any big edits later, then you can choose the look and vibe that you want and save yourself that edit time and not really think about it. Or maybe you just love the look of classic film photography with the retro vibe and the graininess, adding a sense of imperfection compared to the more pristine look from a modern digital camera. But you don't want to, commit to fully shooting on film and developing your own images. Then the X100VI gives you a kind of stopgap in between. It's the best of both worlds. You can also tweak the look of the simulations in camera and then save them as your own presets, which I have been experimenting with. Fuji X Weekly is a great resource if you really want to get into that. You can find all sorts of recipes with examples over there with all of the settings and tweaks that you need. But the film simulations aren't unique to the X100s. You can find them on Fuji's other cameras. I think what's made this line so popular is its size and usability. This is a camera you can take with you every day on the go. You can keep it in a jacket pocket or in a sling and quickly take it out and be ready for a photo. It's less bulky than a traditional mirrorless, and I'd say less intimidating. You can be quite discreet with it when shooting. It has a leaf shutter, making it very quiet. One of my favorite ways to shoot is just heading out to like a local market and capturing candid moments like these as people go about their day. And if you're trying to improve your photography skills, then a setting like this is a really good place to practice. There's no interchangeable lenses. It has this flat pancake style 23mm lens on the front, which is the equivalent of about 35mm, as this has a cropped sensor. And this is using Fuji's X-Trans5 with 40 megapixels, a big jump up from 26 on the previous model. With that resolution boost, we do get some digital crops at 1.4x and 2x if you do need to get closer to a subject, but those do drop you down to 20 and 10 megapixels. But honestly, I like the fixed pancake lens. I like the challenge of shooting with a fixed focal length, and I don't have to think about bringing or carrying more lenses like I do with my Sony a7 III. The Fuji also sits really nicely around the neck. It just sort of sits there comfortably facing forwards. There's no big piece of glass on the front pulling it down. And then there's just the whole feel of it. It has this tactile build with buttons and dials. You can change your shutter speed and ISO with the dial on top, adjust the aperture with the ring on the lens, all without looking. The X100 line gets a lot of praise for its usability and ease of use, and I've never used one before, and it really didn't take me that long to pick up. It has a nice big 3-inch touchscreen on the back, which also folds out, so you can get down nice and low when shooting. And then it has this split viewfinder, which you can look through it optically and see straight through the camera on the other side, with all of your shooting stats sort of digitally overlaid on top, which is pretty cool. Or switch to the digital EVF to see what the camera is seeing with a more accurate preview of the final image. As well as a high resolution, Fuji also added in-body image stabilization for the first time in the X100 line, with up to 6 stops of compensation for sharper images. They even managed to cram a 4-stop ND filter into this thing, so you can shoot with a wider aperture in bright conditions for subject separation with the shallow depth of field, or extend your shutter speed if you want to capture some motion blur. And for video, this jumps from 4K up to 6.2K, which I have barely even used yet. I've just been having way too much fun using this as a stills camera. All inside a body which is pretty much identical to the 5. The 6 is just 2mm thicker. And this camera just looks stunning. I mean, just look at this thing. This is the silver finish, but it does also come in all black. And I love the whole design. A couple of people that have seen me out shooting with it have asked me, what is it? Is it a film camera? Because it does give off that vibe. It looks elegant and retro and yet timeless. And it makes for just a really nice piece of decoration when you're not out shooting. You're going to want to put this on your shelf or have it on your desk, which you can't say for all cameras. By the way, the one that I have here is the limited edition version, which functionally is the same as the standard, but this does have a few unique markers. Firstly, it is one of only 1,934 ever made to mark Fujifilm's founding 90 years ago in 1934. It comes in a special box with some history cards. The lens cap is engraved with the original Fuji logo, which you will also find up here on the camera body. The shutter button is made from titanium, and you also get this engraved soft release button. And it comes with this special neck strap in the box. Then up on the hot shoe, this is where you'll find its unique number engraved. I have number 1373 of 1934. There were only 110 allocated to the UK, and over here they were sold through a randomised ballot. And I didn't actually win the first time around, but after a few of the first winners decided that they didn't want to go down to London to buy one of these, they reran the remaining chances, and I don't know, second time lucky, I guess. Now, I've talked a lot about the things that I love about this camera, but there's a couple of things that I don't like that could be improved. Firstly, there's no GPS in this camera, which means your photos aren't going to get geotagged. I travel a lot and I take a lot of photos, and I do kind of like seeing the places where I took them, especially on that photo map view in the Photos app. You can sync the camera to the Fuji app on your phone over Bluetooth, which should geotag your photos when you go to wirelessly transfer them. But I don't know, I just can't seem to get it to work reliably. And you have to remember to open the app each time as well. And it sometimes just disconnects and it's just a bit of a faff. Instead, I found a way better solution with the Geotag Photos 2 app. This tracks your location and runs in the background. When I'm finished, I'll transfer the photos to my phone with an SD card reader, which is just way quicker than doing it wirelessly. And as long as your phone time matches your camera time, you can use their Tagger app to add all of that location data to your X100VI photos. It's very simple and it only takes a second, but yeah, I just wish that we had GPS built in. I'm guessing that it doesn't have that to save on battery life, which is something that you can drain through pretty quickly. The battery in this is pretty small. You can get spares to swap out, but I've just been using my Anker MagGo to give it a top up as needed. And then there's the auto focus. With the new processor in this, it does have a more advanced subject detection system, which uses AI apparently to detect a range of different subjects. But occasionally it does think that it sees a face on a wall or, I don't know, on a building or something that isn't there, or it will just be a bit slow to focus. But I kind of expected that in such a small form factor camera. With the manual focus, I'm still getting used to the focus ring on front. You have to like really turn it to move the focal plane back and forth. It does accelerate if you turn it faster, but that is just something that I'm still getting used to. I also wish that we could flip the screen around to the front just so you could see yourself when sort of self-shooting. The 35mm equivalent lens on this is a bit kind of tight for holding at arm's length. You're not going to really want to use this for vlogging with. But if you've got this set up on like a tripod or something, it'd be great if we could flip the screen around just to check the framing. And I also just want to know who at Fuji designed these menus, because they've got this like weird mix of normal and condensed fonts going on, which I don't know, just pick one. This looks weird. But all of those are pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. It's not stopped me from enjoying this camera. And this has actually kind of brought the fun back into photography for me. If you've watched my other videos, like my recent 6-month review of the 15 Pro Max, you'll know that I am pretty big on smartphone photography because it is just so convenient to shoot with a phone that I always have with me. I don't want to carry a big mirrorless camera and a bunch of lenses. The X100VI is small and pocketable enough that I can carry it without any hassle and take it out for some quick shots. It just feels so nice to shoot with a proper camera with buttons and dials. It feels a lot more tactile and responsive. And then with the film simulations, I love the look and the feel and the colors of the images straight out of camera. They have a kind of grittiness to them that makes them feel less polished, but in turn that makes them feel more sort of physical and real. If needed, I might make some small adjustments to the brightness or, I don't know, the shadows afterwards. But for the most part, I don't need to go through that whole edit process. The photos are just ready to share, and I love that. If you're someone who wants a compact that you can take pretty much anywhere on the go and spend more time shooting and less time editing, then I think that you'll really like the X100VI. But saying that, it is not cheap. This retails for $1,600 or pounds. But yet it is still in incredibly high demand even after 3 months. It is pretty much sold out everywhere. And if it's anything like the 5, then you might be on a wait list for some time if you do want to pick up this incredible little camera. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe and hit the bell to see more tech videos from me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.